Visions of the Black Heaven, Chapter 19. The middle door of the capacious three-bay garage opened. Hans drove his Bentley inside. Parking next to his antique 1963 convertible Corvette and his phantom Rolls-Royce. Walking into his house, he told the maid to make us dinner. He'll be in his den. The maid said the nanny had already fed his son and put him to bed and went home for the evening. Hans nodded, told her to bring his food to the den. Walking past the plush surroundings of his house, the paintings of Salvador Dali, the Van Gogh, and several others he was proud of, he had focused on getting up to his den, his sanctuary, his place where he could relax. At the bar, he opened the refrigerator, put several cubes of ice in a glass. He made his favorite drink, Scotch on the rocks, made it a double. Touching two buttons of the control panel, the stereo started to play. Soft sounds of horns, strings, and drums filled the room, creating an aura of relaxation. The gas fireplace ignited with a gentle puff. Warmth of soft light filled the air. He walked to his desk. Reclining in his black leather chair, putting his feet on the desktop, looking at his glass, listening to the ice tinkle, he took a step, feeling the warm relaxation flowing through his body like waves of contentment. Watching the soft amber waves of fireplace light shine through his liquid relaxation, his mind's eye looked beyond the fluid tranquility, seeing the windows overlooking the city's landscape and the reflections of his den. The shimmering reflections in the wall of windows showed the fireplace, the bookshelves, the Greek statue, charioteer of Delphi, Chinese terracotta, pretty lady, the Japanese statue, the child. The wall of windows filled one side of the room, floor to ceiling. The images of the strange warrior reappeared, but this time they were somehow different. He did not see the images as much as he felt their dark, cold, almost evil presence. The reflections grew clearer, the images sharpened. The reality of their essence seemed more present. The images repeated the same phrase as one would repeat a prayer to a god, the same words for the same reason, seeking the same meaning. La Chaux de Fort. Feeling more collected, he leaned back in his chair, taking a bigger sip of his drink. He felt confident. An exhilaration overcame him, whispering to himself more than to the images. Who are you? Where are you? Why are you here? And what do you want? I am Shamaza, the reflection answered. You know who I am, why I am here. We are preparing to return. La Chaux de Fort, find the keys. Another image appeared in the window, an image of a pretty female with honey-colored skin and hair that looked like sunlight. Her lips moved as she spoke. His ears could not hear, but his mind understood. I am Anaskelis. I was born in the echo of a voice of the Black Heaven. Hans finished his drink. Walking back to the bar, he felt a shiver as he noticed the reflections of Shamaza and Anaskelis, with hundreds of others behind them, and the reflections following him. They walked from one window to the next until they walked the entire length of his den. Looking at the faces of the reflections, he saw their images scowl in anger. He could not understand the words of their language, but he sensed their meaning. The first drink quenched his thirst. Now he hungered for a wave of joyous relaxation. He watched the liquid pleasure pour from the bottle, splashing on the fresh ice cubes. He heard the same words echo in the darkness of his mind, echoed through the emptiness of his room, echoing midst the lightless void of his world. His mind became comfortable with the mantra, The mantra became part of his mind's noise, the noise everyone hears: past memories, present concerns, future dreams. He walked back to his desk, sat down, leaning back, putting his feet on his desktop, sipping his drink, looking into the eyes of Shamaza's reflection. He started to think. The shadows danced. The warriors' mouths moved. The words became clearer, louder, crisper. La Shield of Thor! His mind went back to the first visitor of the day, the gnome-like man, Voltarian Kotek. He knew something he had not considered. He wondered how he even knew about the medallions. How did he know? Why did he come to look for the medallions? What were the medallions to him? And how did Voltarian Kotek know he even had the medallions? Hans looked at the reflections, wondering how they were appearing in this window as they did at the office at sunset. He walked to the control panel, turned the gas to the fireplace up. The flame light increased. The reflections started to vanish. He smiled. He lowered the flame. The reflections reappeared. Smiling again, he walked back to his desk, sat down to think. Find the keys. La Chambre de Four. Find the keys to the black heaven. The images repeated. The shadows danced. The image became so clear he felt he could touch the warrior. Shamaza's words grew louder. La Chambre de Four! Hans saw the shadows in the corners of his eye, felt the shadows getting closer. He wanted to cover his ears, but knew nothing would stop the constant clamoring mantra in his head. Look, the shadows said. Look, and you will see the visions of the black heaven. La Chambre de Four! Hans lowered his feet off his desktop, sat on the edge of his chair, leaning forward, eyes wide open, looking deep into the reflections. The shadows moved closer. Hans sat up straighter. The voices whispered in his mind, Look, and you will see. Search, and you will find. Reach, and you will touch. La Chambre de Four! His vision grew fuzzy. The images changed. Then the picture became crystal clear. Mary Ellen's truck stop. An old man sitting at a table drinking coffee. A stone cabin in the woods. A family of an old man, an old woman, several young men and a boy. 2 men and 2 women, and a Native American-looking police officer. Hans saw a man standing in the truck stop's parking lot. He felt his face turn pale and shivered in fear as he heard his glass shattering into 1,000 pieces, hitting the floor as he looked into his own eyes. The reflections victoriously repeated their chant, La Chambre de Four! Then the images slowly vanished, fading into the hollowness, blackness of the night.